So good afternoon, all of you. Just welcome back to this session. We will be taking about risk management tools and techniques. So just you type on Google risk management tools, and in a very handy way, you understand what is the root cause analysis. So root cause means why. Okay, so uh, generally, whenever I teach a topic, I always tell you that you need to analyze about that topic, why you are learning software engineering. Obviously this risk management tools and techniques is regarding to your software engineering subject and a part of your SDLC, that is software development life cycle. Okay, so in fact risk management is a part of every module of the SDLC. So why risk management is important, why it needs to be handled. Okay, why to identify risks, then what is risk basically. Okay, and what is risk management, what are the risk management tools. These questions should come to your mind. And finally, how to do it, how to manage risks, how to identify risks, how to you know uh, understand and incorporate the tools for our project. So already this assignment was given to you earlier, and a lot of students have come up with a lot of concepts, and that is why that's the power of group knowledge. Okay, so in our WhatsApp group, a lot of people have discussed about risk management, and I'm sure that this is the way they have gone through, and that is why a lot of people have talked about SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what are threats? They are nothing but risks. Okay, so in simple language, SWOT, you need not make any topic very complicated. In fact, every topic you should try to make it simple by how, what, and where. Why? So SWOT means strength, weaknesses. So even this comes to you, me, every person, or your project, okay, or any product, or any software, any tool. So if you're identifying any tool, you need to do the SWOT analysis. What are the strength, weakness, opportunities related to that tool, and threats. Okay, so if you're taking about your project, what are the strength of your project, what are the weakness, what are the opportunity, and what are threats. So this weakness and threats, they are nothing but the risks. Weakness, you can call it as limitations, and threats are the risks. So even in risk management, weaknesses should also be handled about. Okay. So the risk assessment template. Now see, there are many templates available for risk assessment, and that depends upon the tool you are using. Okay, I'll be sharing you the link in the description box regarding the PPT, which has already shared by Harsh in our last practical. And also, as always, I say in SCPM lectures that you just type Google Pressman PPTs and type risk management, you will get that. But again, I'll share that link also. Go through those theoretical concepts as discussed last time. So you will get a template understanding over there also. But templates are available online, as well as whatever tool you decide, template comes with that. Okay. So risk register, you need to register. Register means actually identification. Okay, once you identify the risk, then you need to put it in the probability matrix. Probability and impact matrix says that how much probability is that that risk will occur and how much impact it will give to your outcome. So, you should, in software engineering, as I always say, that you should pick the words dictionary wise and just connect it with computer engineering and your project and product life cycle, and it's easy. So probability of risk means how many times it will occur. Impact of risk means what will be its effect on the outcome. We can put it in the matrix. Why? Because we should have all permutation and combination, and we should not miss it. Okay, so it's very easy to organize this with the help of array and matrix. So matrix is nothing but an array. So a 2D array is also a matrix. A 3D array is a 3 by 3 matrix, and so on. After that, you need to analyze the risk on the basis of quality assessment. Because if you handle the risk, it should not affect the outcome. So if you have handled the risk and the outcome doesn't change as what was expected, that means that you have handled the risk properly. Okay. If you do not handle the risk properly, your output would change. Similarly, a college institution goes for accreditation, ISO certification, any company goes for ISO certification, any product goes for ISO certification. When in previous days, ISI mark was there. Today, ISO certification, then college goes for UGC, then it goes for NAC, then it goes for accreditation. What actually it means, the more these levels are crossed, the more that institute's quality is being assessed and stamped by some authoritative organization that yes, this institute, if it is NAC A grade, that means it is of highest quality. So anything has to be assessed on some particular measures so that you say that this have a quality. For example, if a project has a less number of risks and they have identified how to handle that risk 100%, their quality is more. Another project, it has more number of risk and the capacity to handle that risk is less. Obviously, the quality is less. Okay. So last but not the least for this topic is brainstorming. Of course, to identify the risk, you need to brainstorm. In our previous session, we took case studies of attendance marking system online. We took a case study of McDonald's. We took case study of open source. If whatever project you are going through, you take that as a case study. You need to really do exhaustive approach, brainstorm. You have to see all the case studies in different angles and try to find out what can be the possible risk. Okay, so that's called brainstorming. The more brainstorming you will do, the more risk you will identify so that you don't get a shock treatment at the client's level. Okay, so I think as a beginner for any topic, I was just trying to tell you, this is the best way you should learn, because as a software engineer, as a computer engineer, we all know that every day there is updation going on. Even if I take thousands of lectures for you, are you ready to listen that? Maybe it's not useful for you to right now. Maybe after graduation, you will be working on some another technology. Technology learned today can become absolute. Company will give you different technology. If you change the company, you can't say that, oh, I was working on this technology, I can't change. You need to update yourself. So the best way to understand how, what, and why should be your initiative whenever a new thing is coming to you. So I'm making you learn the heuristic approach of gaining knowledge and not the exhaustive, because there is unlimited knowledge. If you go on with exhaustive approach, you will never be able to acquire any project execution. So heuristic approach. So for heuristic approach, I'm just telling you any topic is the best way that you understand what people ask for. Okay. So these are the 4 tools. See how easily you get the 4 tools for risk management. It's that easy. If you click on 6 rows, you will get more 6 tools. Okay, now it depends upon you which you need to pick, because you got the 10 best risk management software very easily. So what if some topic is given to you by any faculty or your team, or maybe if a sponsored project you are doing, if you want to do any research, if you're joining any company and your company hands over you the project where you do not know about the new terminology, just go through Google, type that term and say people also ask. So these are the most commonly asked questions, and you get the best knowledge in 10 minutes answering your how, what, and why. So 5 types of risks: avoidance, retention, sharing, transferring, and loss prevention and reduction. So you can apply all these facets on any individual's life and can pay off in the long run. Now see, risk is not a very complicated topic. You need to understand your project as a layman, as a client, as a software engineer, as a tester, as an analyzer, as a designer. and just do brainstorming and identify the risk. This is very theoretical. What are the different types of risk? But if you know theoretical knowledge, you have idea about what can be the permutation combination of the types of risk, of the risk identification. So avoidance, retention, sharing, transferring, loss prevention, and reduction. Take all the case studies which we discussed in the previous session. I'll give you the link also of the previous session in the description box, or any of the project which you're going through, and just analyze what can be the avoidance in your mini project, what can be the retention. Now I want to make this presentation very short, so I would tell you how to even learn this. Type avoidance, type of risk management, example, and you'll get one case study. Understand that case study and similarly apply that concept to your mini project. Okay, or the McDonald case study we discussed, or the open source, or the open day, or the attendance. So I will give you a homework that just type on the Google type of risk avoidance example case study. Okay, likewise you study all the examples and apply to your case study for your lab assignment 7. So what are the risk tools and techniques? Of course, in one of the assignment I had given you, you have to identify the difference between tools, techniques, methods, methodology, algorithm, framework, architecture, system. It all looks the same, but if their name is different, there may be slight difference as well. So you need to identify tools differently and techniques differently. Okay, techniques would be help the organization identify, evaluate, and reduce a particular risk, whereas tools will be able to help to manage those risks. So we identify the first important task is to identify the risk. Once you identify the risk, your 60% problem is solved. Then 40% is to identify the solution, and that's very more easier than identification. So identification can be done using risk management techniques, whereas management of those risks and solution can be done using the risk management tools. As simple as that. I want you to mark this line and note in your notes. So what are the risk assessment tools? So tools are risk matrix. So if you have learned data structure, or maybe in 12th standard, higher education, you have learned matrix, even arrays if you have studied in programming. So you need to create a probability and accurate matrix for risk management. Then decision tree, if you have learned algorithms and data structure, you know what is a decision tree. So a tree is what? It has a root, it has siblings, and it has got a leaf node. Decision means every node will decide something or the other, that how you're going to solve that risk. Of course, there will be failure nodes as well. Okay. And there is a Bouty model. So again, you are picking up the words. Till now, if you were a beginner, you will not understand what are the things to be studied in risk management. Now going through this, now you know that you have to study decision tree, failure modes, effect analysis, that is FMEA. So again, your another homework would be, if you want this session to be short, take this as a homework, FMEA, study that. Study Bouty model. Okay, and you will understand how decision tree matrix is used effectively in both the two approaches mentioned here. And this is how then you're going to study all these theory topics. So finally, the more questions you will go through, the more in detail you will come to know about this topic. And finally, you end here, but you never end in search, because it goes on and on and on, because people do PhD also on risk management. So you know what you need to focus. You may say that if any topic given to you, how much time should we spend on that? I would always recommend that please go through this of any of the techniques. So for risk management also, what are the strengths of finding the risk? What are the weakness? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? Our previous session discussed about what is the assignment, where I told you to identify 4 tools. So you need to understand the SWOT analysis of all the 4 tools. The limitations and risks of your project is basically you need to handle through those tools, because the weakness and threats are basically uh, the limitations and risk which we can club together as risk only for your project. Okay, so you need to identify that using the tools, do the SWOT analysis. That table format is nothing but mentioned in the previous session as the practical assignment is nothing but the SWOT analysis. And finally, in the theory, you should not, if you have a time limit scope and you're not doing research on this topic, best way is to limit yourself to why risk management is required, what is risk management, and how. How means the tools. So why we all know, because we need to solve the limitations and threats of a project for proper execution. Okay. What is risk? Risk are nothing but, again, they are the threats, weakness and threats of your project or case study. Okay. Why it is required? For proper execution. Okay. And how? Through techniques. Why I've written techniques first? Because techniques would give you how to identify risks, which is more important, 60% valuable in risk management. And another is tools. Tools is for managing and handling the risks. Okay, so the 4 tools you will identify using SWOT analysis to manage and handling the risk. So if you understand why, what, and how, you will limit yourself to the theory and not go endless. Okay, that is why it is very essential that where to go, how much to study, but even in lesser time, do smart work. So by doing smart work means to identify why, what, and how. That's it. So I would end this session on risk management tools and techniques. Okay, and I hope that this will be useful to you and you will be able to perform your assignment. Okay, before that, I would just like to mention see, risk management help prevent data breaches. Okay, so Microsoft has a compliance for risk management, and that's called Microsoft Purview. And I find it very, very useful to identify as well as handle the risk. Okay, so if possible, we will have one more session on Microsoft Purview. But even if you study on your own, out of the 4 tools, I would recommend that please use Microsoft tool. Find out the free version and a demo session. And of course, they have a paid session, which is very, very good. We have been using it, but at least try out the demo session. Okay. So thank you very much for your patience listening. Have a nice day. This is Dr. Ayesha Butalia signing off. Thank you very much.